I found out I wasn't invited the same way I found out I had been erased. Quietly, accidentally, and far too late. I was standing in the kitchen when my phone buzzed against the counter, rattling next to the bowl of oranges I hadn't gotten around to putting away. The kettle was screaming on the stove, that sharp, impatient sound, and the morning light was pouring in through the blinds in thin stripes. Ordinary, completely ordinary, and that's what made it worse. The message wasn't meant for me. It was from my sister-in-law, sent in a group chat I wasn't supposed to be in. A screenshot of a pastel invitation trimmed in gold with tiny painted flowers around the edges. Baby shower for Olivia and Marcus, my son's name, her name, a date circled in pink, a venue I recognized immediately, the kind of place that charged extra just to breathe their air. Below it, a caption, "Can't wait to celebrate our girl. Please remember this is an intimate event. Olivia only wants people who truly support us." I read it twice, then a third time. My name wasn't there, not in the guest list, not in the replies. No one noticed I'd seen it. The kettle boiled over, hissing, water spilling onto the burner. I didn't move. My chest felt hollow, like something had been scooped out and left to echo. I thought of the envelope of checks in my desk drawer, the wire transfers, the quiet pride I'd felt watching my son build what I thought was his family. And in that moment, staring at a party I wasn't welcome to, I realized something important. I hadn't just been excluded. I'd been used. Before all of that, before the invitations and the whispers and the careful erasing, my life was simple, in the way a woman my age learns to appreciate. I was 62, widowed for 5 years, and living in the same 3-bedroom house I'd raised my children in. The paint was chipped in places, the hallway light flickered unless you tapped it just right, but it was home. Every creak in the floorboards spoke a language I understood. My son Marcus was my youngest. He'd always had a gentle way about him, even as a boy, the kind who held doors open without thinking, who apologized when he bumped into furniture. When he met Olivia, he was 31 and working long hours at a logistics company that promised growth, but delivered mostly stress. He brought her over for dinner one Sunday evening, nervous in a way I hadn't seen since his first job interview. Olivia was beautiful, not just pretty, but polished. Perfect hair, soft laugh, eyes that measured the room quickly before settling into warmth. She hugged me like we were already family. "I've heard so much about you," she said, stepping inside, her heels clicking against the hardwood floors. "Marcus says you're the reason he's the man he is." That sentence stayed with me. It felt like a blessing. In those early days, I wanted to like her. I did like her. She was attentive when it suited her. Asked just enough questions about my life to seem interested. She complimented the food, the house, the way I'd arranged the photos on the mantel, my late husband smiling in every one, frozen in time. When they got engaged, it was fast, faster than I expected, but Marcus was glowing in a way that quieted my doubts. The wedding was small. Olivia said she didn't like crowds. She cried during the vows. I cried too. Afterwards, when they started talking about buying a house, it felt natural that I'd help. I'd been careful with money my whole life, skipped vacations. I had something set aside, and what good was it if not for my children? "I don't want to be a burden," Marcus said one evening, sitting at my kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug of coffee he wasn't drinking. "You're not," I told him. "You're my son." Olivia smiled at me then, wide, relieved. She squeezed my hand. "We'll pay you back, I promise." I waved it off. Families don't keep score. Those words would come back to haunt me. At first, everything felt fine. They moved into a townhouse just outside the city. Olivia sent me pictures, the living room with its white couch no one was allowed to sit on, the kitchen island she loved. She called me Mom early on, which surprised me but also softened something inside my chest. Then she got pregnant. The announcement was elaborate, a small box wrapped in blue paper. Inside it, a pair of tiny socks. I cried harder than I had at the wedding. This was a new chapter, a grandchild, something living and warm and hopeful. As the months passed, though, I noticed changes, small ones. Olivia stopped calling as often. When I suggested lunch, she was busy, tired, not feeling well. Marcus's voice on the phone grew careful, like he was choosing words from a narrow shelf. "We're just trying to get everything ready," he said. "You know how Olivia gets." I didn't know, not really, but I nodded along anyway. Then the requests started, quietly, carefully. The baby furniture they wanted was expensive, but it's safer, Olivia said. The nursery needed renovations, a special stroller, prenatal classes that weren't covered by insurance. Each time, Marcus asked with that same apologetic look in his voice. And each time, I said yes. I didn't brag about it, didn't tell friends, didn't keep receipts. I transferred money, wrote checks, told myself I was investing in my family's future. What I didn't see, or maybe didn't want to see, was how Olivia began to speak about our life as if it were hers alone. On social media, she posted pictures of their home with captions about hard work and building from nothing. She thanked Marcus, she thanked herself. She never mentioned me. Still, I stayed quiet. I told myself it didn't matter, that gratitude didn't need an audience, that love didn't require credit. Until the day I learned there was going to be a baby shower, and I wasn't welcome. I stood in that kitchen for a long time, the kettle forgotten, the light shifting on the walls. My hands trembled just slightly as I scrolled back through the messages, my name conspicuously absent. Intimate event. People who truly support us. I thought of the nursery crib I'd paid for, the deposit on the venue, the bills I'd covered without question. And for the first time since Olivia entered my life, I felt something cold and steady settle in my chest. Not anger. Clarity. I set the phone down, turned off the stove, and sat at the table alone. Outside, a neighbor's lawnmower hummed, the sound of ordinary life continuing without pause. I wasn't invited to the celebration, but I was about to become part of the story. I didn't say anything at first. That's the part people don't always understand when they hear stories like mine. They imagine outrage, confrontation, slammed doors. But humiliation has a way of quieting you. It presses down on your chest and convinces you that silence might be safer than truth. So I stayed quiet. The day after I saw the invitation, Marcus called. His voice was careful again, soft around the edges, like he was trying to not bruise me. "Mom," he said, "I just wanted to check in. You okay?" I leaned against the counter, tracing a small crack in the tile with my toe. "I'm fine," I said. And I was, at least that's what I wanted him to believe. There was a pause. I could hear Olivia in the background, her voice muffled but unmistakable, brisk and decisive. She was always organizing something, always in control. "We've been busy," Marcus continued. "The pregnancy's been a lot." "I understand," I said. And I did, or at least I thought I did. He hesitated, then added, "We'll get together soon." We didn't. Weeks passed. The baby shower came and went without a word to me. I saw the pictures online. Olivia glowing in a pale blue dress, one hand cradling her belly, the other holding a flute of something sparkling. The venue was exactly as I remembered. Tall windows, white tablecloths, fresh flowers arranged just so. I recognized the centerpieces immediately. I'd paid for them. In the pictures, guests laughed and clapped as Olivia opened gifts. Expensive gifts, the kind you register for when you know someone else will foot the bill. Marcus stood beside her, smiling, his arm around her shoulders. In one photo, Olivia was mid-speech, her lips curved in a practiced smile, eyes shining as she gestured around the room. "So grateful," the caption read. "We've built this life together, from the ground up." From the ground up. I closed the app and set the phone face down on the table. My reflections stared back at me from the dark screen. Older than I felt, quieter than I'd ever been. That night, I didn't sleep much. I lay in bed listening to the tick of the clock on the dresser, the same one my husband had bought because he liked the way it sounded. Each second felt deliberate, almost accusatory. I replayed conversations in my head. The way Olivia had insisted on handling the guest list, the way she'd smiled when I offered help, never refusing but never acknowledging either. The small comments she'd made over the months, "We're trying to do this on our own," said with a glance that always seemed to land on me. Had I missed something? Crossed a line without realizing it? By morning, the hurt had settled into something heavier. Not rage, not yet, more like a resolve that frightened me a little. I decided I would watch and listen. When Marcus finally came by a week later, it was alone. He looked tired, older somehow. He hugged me a little too tightly, as if trying to make up for something without naming it. "I should have called sooner," he said, sitting at the table. "I saw the pictures," I said gently. His shoulders stiffened. He didn't meet my eyes. Oh, I repeated. "It looked lovely." He rubbed